edibles and ornamentals in a cottage garden, in my city cottage garden. Hello, and welcome to Catherine's Garden. It's so good to be here with you today. I hope all is well with you. I want to take you into the front garden to see my ornamental plants and also my edible plants in my cottage garden. Yes, this is my urban cottage garden here in the city of Boston, Zone 6. The urban cottage garden is an old world style of planting and gardening. It was first originated in England with the workers. And then we also have here in the United States, during the time of World War I and World War II, we had what was called the Victory Gardens. And that had a sort of sense of an urban cottage garden feel in that people planted in their yards, their backyards and their front yards, vegetables. Within a cottage garden, you will find fruit trees, herbs, annuals, shrubs, ornamental flowers, like my cannas, and also my calendriums, which to me are specialty plants. But next to it, you'll also find the vinca and the petunias, as well as there my kale and also my purple perilla, which are edible plants and can be used in cooking. So I really love this urban cottage feel, because even though I am in the city, I still feel like this is my secret garden, an enclosure where I can relax and enjoy the beauty of the garden. Like even right here, I have some fresh mums for the season, and my little artifacts here, my owls, to join me here in the garden. And I even have a rose, my rose here, Eden Climber, giving me some beauty and also beautiful scent. My urban cottage garden in the Northeast. Yes, I am a city dweller, but yet I have this cottage feel where I am combining my edibles with my ornamentals. The kale here was grown by seed. The other kale, the curly kale, was grown by a seedling that I got from one of my gardener suppliers. This purple plant that you see there is purple perilla, and that was a pass-along plant given to me by a woman at the community garden. And then I have my exotic plant, my calendriums, in the midst of this, along with some weeds and annuals, as you can see. But then here is my curly kale. Last year I had a huge curly kale planted right here in this spot or around here, and it grew so large and it lasted through the winter. I knew if I was hungry or if I needed food to eat or if there was a lack of something, that I could go out in my front yard and pick the kale. I added the kale to my soups and stews, and it gave me that taste of summer. Now, I love these vincas. Vincas are the beautiful pink flowers. They're annuals, and that reminds me of the tropics. It reminds me of my home, my parents' home in Montserrat, and when my father and I were walking down by the riverbed, and there I saw pink vinca growing up just like this one. I took some pieces of it and transferred it and put it in my parents' yard. There in the West Indies, it grows into a nice huge bush because of the temperate climate. And this just reminds me of my father. Now these ground cover roses look so pretty here. As it spills over on the concrete. I don't know what this is here. It looks to me like an amaranth, but it happens to be green. In amongst the nasturtium. I bought a seed pack of nasturtiums, and they've grown up by seed or from seed. They're this beautiful orange color, which is perfect for the season now that we're going into fall. To me, this section right here is like a beautiful bouquet right in front in my entrance. Whoever comes in, they're greeted with this beautiful bouquet of flowers, edibles, as well as ornamentals. I don't know if you know that the nasturtium is an edible flower, and the leaves are edible as well. They have like a almost peppery taste. And that's what gives my garden the cottage feel, right here in the city. Along with the birds singing and the wildlife. In a cottage garden, it is distinct. The style is unique, and it is not traditional or formal, but it has a flow, a rhythm to it, and it sort of like beats to its own drum. But I am the conductor. I am the one who goes in and edits the garden, taking out things and adding things in and making it uniquely mine. I love my cottage garden here in the city of Boston because when I walk through the gate, it reminds me of my own little sanctuary where I can look at the beauty, but also that my garden produces for me. And it produces vegetables and fruits, and I can live off of the land even though I live in the city. And the cottage garden offers that to me. It gives me that opportunity also to see the beauty of the garden, to enjoy the flowers and enjoy the different types of flowers that are possible in my urban cottage garden. I'm highly impressed with this hydrangea. It's a big leaf hydrangea, and it's right here on the corner of this front garden, along with the sedum. I don't know what this is. It's a very weedy plant, but I love the color of the stems. They match so well with the purple perilla, creating a really pretty picture here in the corner. My tick seed has rebloomed. It's doing well. I need to come through and straighten up this corner and give it a last final push for the season. It has been so dry, so I kind of like the ground staying covered so that the moisture can stay in the ground or at the roots of the plants. But now that the season is changing a little bit, I'm hoping to come in and just pull some of these things. And even these daylilies, what I'm hoping to do is to cut and pull up and divide them and put them in other areas of the garden. The sedum here is changing color. I don't know the name of the sedum. It's a very special plant. My Aunt Auntie, she had it in her garden, and when she passed away, I dug it up, and I just had a piece, a clump, and I allowed it to grow, and then I divided the clump. Each year, I've spread it here in the front yard. It's really easy plant. It's a really easy plant to divide. And now is the time when it really brings out its color. This beautiful pinky mauve color, and it blends so well with the purple perilla. Now, I purchased this coleus. This year has not been a good year for coleus, but now it is coming up, and it looks really good here with the purple perilla, the sedum, the coleus, and my peppers. I have here my hydrangea. It's a tree, it's in tree form. Usually it's filled with huge plumes of flowers. This year, as you can see how it is, the flowers are small. I don't know what happened, but that's the way it is this year. I think because of the lack of rain and the dryness of the season, we were watering steadily, trying to make sure that we keep the moisture in. But the hit, what really has made me happy, is this Dinosaur Kale. Now, I don't really eat this one. I haven't eaten much of these leaves here because I'm really intrigued with it. But I can, now that the fall is coming in, start to harvest it. And here again, I have the edibles with the ornamentals. By the way, Right here, you can see the jalapeno peppers growing. And there's one ripening right in there. I can actually harvest it. Zinnias were so easy to plant. I just used some seed and scattered them here in the front garden, and they've grown up. To bring so much beauty. I love the colors. I especially love this one. I also believe that the flowers are small because of the lack of moisture. Next year, I believe that the flowers will be larger. I planted right in here 3 sunflower plants, and I am waiting for them to flower. These tomatoes look like jewels in the garden, and I've been harvesting them steadily. Along with my okra. I showed my husband the okra, and he was so impressed. He says, you've got to make sure that you plant more okra. Give them this whole area. But I also have here some zucchini that did very well. The problem is that they're now getting powdery leaf mold, so I'm going to have to pull them up. And that will give room for this dinosaur kale to grow even larger. Overall, it's been a unique season, and I am still very pleased with my urban cottage garden. Surprise, surprise, I see a pumpkin. Well, I wanted to try something different in that little back patch of ground near the arborvitae, right there as you come down the driveway. And I planted some pumpkins. Yes, the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins starts from seeds that I gotten from the Dollar Tree. And you know what? All I can see is this beautiful pumpkin that has come up. One, but yet maybe I will get another one. I think it's a good idea, and hopefully next year I will work it so that it really works out nice, that the pumpkins will have the space that they need, the care that they need, so that I can produce more pumpkins. One thing I found that the pumpkins need, and squash and cucumbers, they need a lot of water. And so next year I'll be more diligent in making sure that my pumpkins get the water they need. But at least I have one pumpkin in that patch that I created. The zinnias seem to be doing okay, but they too could have gotten more water. Well, the season's not totally over, so what I could do is cut them back and see if I can get a new flush of flowers from the zinnias. This has been a beautiful time in the garden. I've really enjoyed it, just seeing the changes, and then also seeing some of the plants like my featured plant today, which is the sedum, grow into its maturity, where it's really spreading and bunching up. And now we can see the color of the sedum. Now, I planted the sedum in different patches and parts of the front garden because they require sun, and the ground doesn't necessarily have to be very moist or rich, the soil, um, because they grow very well, because they're like a succulent, and so they grow very well in dry conditions. Well, it has been dry, so I think that my sedum have really appreciated the weather this time and that they're growing well. So let's take a look at the sedum. By the way, the sedum has a story. My aunt Tanti, who's since passed away, she had that sedum in her garden, and I cut a piece of it, brought it to my garden, and now I'm growing it on. To me, it's like what they call a pass-along plant. Yes. So it's so good to see the sedums. And it is the featured plant for this season for me in my garden, Catherine's garden. Sometimes I just feel like covering the whole area with plants. But that's not a good idea. We need the grass. It provides a rest for the eye. But I'm very happy with this corner, this section right here. This is looking really, really nice. You can see the sedum. I planted some patches of them here, and this year they've come up nicely. I think what I'm going to do is add some more down in this area right here. Something needs to be there, but this looks good. Now, this has been an experiment. The pumpkin. Planted the pumpkin in the patch right here. And let's follow it. I think I see something orange. You're gonna be with me as I discover it here. Is that a pumpkin that I see? I was wondering if I was going to get anything from this pumpkin patch. And yes, there is a pumpkin. Small, but I'm sure it's edible. I love this little gathering of annuals, and these marigolds look so cute here. I love this one. And this one. And this one. Very pretty. I'm gonna have to save these seeds. I really like this time of the season because the mornings are cool, and then later on in the day it becomes more sunny and beautiful out. I love the weather, and this morning I actually took a walk around the neighborhood and was checking out different things. It just felt so fresh and great to get out and to get out past my garden. And this time of the year, things are starting to perk back up because of the rains and the water. So the neighborhood was looking really fresh early in the morning. It's beautiful. It has been raining, so everything is so lush and green, shimmering in the sunlight. Just picture perfect, at least for me. I'm satisfied. Well, I hope that you will have a wonderful week in your garden and know that your garden is your therapy. Just go on out and find the rhythm of your garden and let it flow. Let it flow. Yes, with edibles and orientals. And when you mix them together and find that rhythm, then your garden will be uniquely yours. So don't be afraid to explore in the garden and to create your own cottage garden, your own, if you live in the city, your city cottage garden. Well, thank you so much for being with me here in Catherine's garden. For more videos, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time right here in Catherine's garden. Bye. Thank you so much for being here with me in Catherine's Garden. Bye.